The hottest stories trending right now, including, as Lara told us, Jessica Simpson's brand new baby boy, the latest on Alec Baldwin's Twitter rant, and a huge weekend at the box office. And here to talk about it all, our good friend, editor at People Magazine.
Good morning, all.
Larry Hackett.
Morning, sir. Happy July.
Yeah. So we just heard with Lara that Jessica Simpson, I didn't know that until I came in this morning, a little baby boy. We knew it was going to be a boy.
We did.
That was so
14
funny
months
when
apart.
she said that.
That kind of squirted out on Jimmy Kimmel back in March.
Why squirt?
Exactly. And
Lara's favorite word.
yeah. So we knew there was going to be the C-section. We had heard several weeks ago that it was going to be scheduled around this weekend, and so finally it happened. The baby's name is Ace Knute.
Knute.
Yes.
Knute.
And this is not obviously.
Consider myself corrected.
This is not about Knute Rockne, although the football player, the father's football player, and it's also not about Knute, the polar bear.
Yes.
Remember the polar bear? No, neither one of those. Eric's grandfather is
Swedish?
Scandinavian Swedish, yes, and his name was Knute, so it's named after them. Keeping in line with Maxwell Drew's names, which are the names of the maiden names of women in the family. So the names are all going to be
Keeping it all in the family. That's
all in the
really
family.
nice.
I don't know where Ace comes from, so I'll have to work on that.
And
But I love it. I think Ace is a great name.
That's a great name. It's cool. It's like a cool boy
It's very
nickname.
kind of Leave It to Beaver, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Ace, come on in and have some soup.
Come on in.
And
And a
we
very
were-
busy family unit.
We were
Yes,
saying
very much so.
they're not married yet. Any details on that?
Well, they had been planning on getting married after the first baby was born, but then things happened.
Babies keep getting in the way.
Yeah, exactly. So I was saying, we'll
They're
wait and
just
see what
too
happens.
happy.
They really are. They really are.
Larry, I want to ask you about this. Alec Baldwin attacks a journalist who suggested that his wife, Ilaria, had been tweeting during James Gandolfini's funeral.
Right.
He did so and used a gay slur in doing so on Twitter. He has since walked his way back from it, has Alec Baldwin. However, this is happening at the exact same time that Paula Deen is seeing an empire crumble for racial slurs that she confirms that she used decades ago. Do you see now a double standard? Because Hollywood has been noticeably silent with regard to Alec Baldwin.
I think a lot of this is about several things. Sure, I mean, anybody would look at it and say it's a double standard. I think it also goes to the idea that what happened with Paula Deen, again, and it is not forgiving her use of the language, may in some quarters seem as being kind of harsh. I think what makes this really terrible, this is all about forgiveness or lack of forgiveness. And I think a lot of people feel really uncomfortable about meting out some kind of punishment, whether it's to Alec Baldwin or to her. I find this whole story, though fascinating, really, really uncomfortable. I mean, yes, there's clearly a double standard here, but does that mean that we're in the business of saying, okay, gay slur 2013, you get X? African American slur 1986, you get X. It's just a really, really awkward situation.
I find the silence, though, to be deafening.
I think this is in keeping, he says explosive things on Twitter.
Sure.
He insults people. This is not out of the ordinary. We know this about him. Whether that forgives it, obviously not, but we know it.
I would love to see them come out and say, once you've been nailed for saying something inappropriate like that, I would love for you to come out and do a PSA and teach people how it may be something that's around you all the time and you just say it out loud or you just burst out loud, but it's not okay and it hurts people's feelings.
And if there's anything good about this, people realize none of this is okay, so don't do it. That's it. Moving forward, don't do it. It's not good.
One last item, again, with Larry. Your pop news was like our heat index. That's how hot it was.
You know what?
Hot
It's
it is.
that hot.
But speaking of the hot, the heat. Second at the box office.
Right.
I mean, really surprised a lot of people with a strong second behind Monsters University.
You have two very popular stars. You have an incredibly established formula in the buddy movie, but in this case it's with women. And we all know Melissa McCarthy's funny.
Yeah.
And there were no other movies for this audience. I mean, not to take away from White House Down, but I've seen that movie before. And I think a lot of people are saying, here's finally a movie not for 14-year-old boys. And they went to it. And there was a lot of anticipation. The studio was really behind it. I mean, we had heard a long time ago this movie was very, very funny. And it paid off.
And it is very funny.
Hey, can I just add a little plug? Demian Bashir, who's also in the film, is here later in the program.
Oh, fantastic.
He plays Sandra Bullock's boss in the movie. He's very, very funny. He's also an Oscar nominee.
Very, very funny?
Yeah.
Those go together?
That's very funny.
It's warm in here today, Larry.